Great day, attractive thinker and visual encouragers, visionaries around the world. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. Dr. Toni Hatton here, your identity coach and get to the root specialist at theattractivethinker.guru. I know that you already have your copy of The Attractive Thinker on Amazon. And if you don't, run on over to Amazon and grab your copy because you're going to need this on your entrepreneurial journey, on your journey to transforming your life, on your journey to elevating and exposing other versions of you, revealing more of your potential. You're going to need, because we need mental tools to do that. This is why the attractive thinker exists, to provide mental healing for mental clarity and mindset maintenance and give you mental tools to help you move through these phases of your life, this growth and this change, because that's what we as attractive thinkers do and visionaries. We grow, we change, we don't settle, we don't stay, like Tichet says, stale, stuck, and stagnant, or we don't live mediocre, mundane, routine lives. And when you're not that kind of person, you need tools to help you get to next levels in your life. Welcome, my co-host, Tichet Bradshaw, to another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance.
Happy Mindset Monday, everybody. We made it through another week full of power. We get to do what we've never done, go where we've never gone, and have all that we deserve to have in this lifetime. It's a great day to be alive.
It is a fantastic and amazing day to be alive. When we talk about recovering from a broken value system, see, today we're talking to attractive thinkers and visionaries who have experienced a break, lived in a break, came out of a break, and are now living beyond the break. And you might say, well, I'm in this category and not that category. If you are a true, authentic, genuine, attractive thinker and visionary, you found yourself in all aspects of the break. And you will continue to, because as we continue to grow and change and evolve, we're going to experience breaks in our identity. You're breaking from one system into another. You're breaking from one mindset into another. So these tools are invaluable and have residual value going forward. And that's why I encourage you to have your own copy of the Attractive Thinker Experience, because it is full of mental tools to help you along the way. When we talk about recovering from a broken value system, when we experience defining moments to shed, and I know you can relate to this as well, we're moving. See, there's a lot going on other than just the break or how we feel about the break. We're moving from one system to another. Our identity is changing while we are experiencing a break, while we're upset about it, while we're still in shock. While we are still in shock due to an unexpected defining moment, we are shifting and changing identities. We are being transformed. We're changing forms. We're becoming someone other than who we were. And when that happens, we're breaking free from a system and breaking into another system. Think about that. So we have to change our value system in order to enter into another system. When you go to another country, you have to change the system, your way of doing things in order to enter into and function legally in another system. This is coming to me also to shut while I'm talking. If we refuse to change while we're in entering into another system, we're entering into it illegally, and there are repercussions behind that. We're entering in, trying to enter into another system unlawfully, and I have experiences with that. So many times down through the years, I was introduced to new information, a new way of doing things, or a new accomplishment, something that I could do greater. And the mindset wasn't taught to me. They didn't tell me what I had to encounter along the way or who I had to become, the changes that I needed to make in my life along the way. And I found myself following the steps that they shared to get to this accomplishment. But when I got there, I hadn't made the shifts internally. See, there's one thing called physical action, and there's another thing called internal action. I was really good at taking physical action. I can follow through, but nobody showed me how to apply mental tools. This is why we do what we do. Nobody showed me how to apply mental tools and make the shifts internally so that when I get to where I'm going, see, I always say this, I've said it for years to Shet. Our gifts and skills and abilities and talents and all the wonderful things about us has the capacity, the ability to get us to where we're going. But it's who we are on the inside that can sustain where we're going. The gifts and the talents and the abilities really cannot keep us at these levels that we aspire to reach. It's who we are. It's our character. It's our makeup, our belief system, how we roll, our habits that can sustain the various levels that our gifts can get us to. So when we talk about recovering from a broken value system, our value system is broken when we find ourselves living beneath what we desire and deserve. Our value system is broken when we find ourselves comfortable living beneath what we desire and deserve. Let me give you some examples. I'm living my life and I'm okay with constantly having desires, the spirit constantly triggering me, the spirit constantly showing me things, and I don't value it enough to do something about it. I'm living beneath what I desire and I deserve because my value system is broken. What do I mean by a broken value system? I mean that it's like the things that I should be valuing, that I should be placing a high value on, are I've placed them lower than the pedestal that I've placed a high value on other things. For example, I could place a higher value on making sure everyone else around me is happy than making sure I'm happy. I put myself on a lower value system and place other things on a higher value system. That's a broken value system. Anything, now, this might hit us differently today, but it just came to me. Anything that is that I'm valuing less than myself is coming from a broken value system because I'm the best thing that God ever did. I'm the best thing that God ever did. You are the best thing that God ever did. Think about that. He lives in you. He's expressing himself. He's experiencing life through you. So if we don't value ourselves highly, then we are devaluing ourselves. And to devalue ourselves is to devalue the Spirit of God in us, the divine power in us. Think that's how important you are. That's how valuable you are. And Tisha, I'm so excited to be able to talk to us today about recovering from a broken value system because we have to make some shifts. We have to put higher priority on things that are a higher priority and take that high priority, take those things off of the pedestal that we've put on there that have no value at all and have no business being on the pedestal. Talk to us today, Tishet, about recovering from a broken value system.
Absolutely. A lot of our life, and this is where assessment comes in. Every week I say, assess yourself so that you can understand what your true values are and how your true values have come about, right? Because a lot of us build values based on the experience, what we've learned, what we were taught, family history, things like that, family traditions, all kinds of ways that we develop our value system, right? And when we assess ourselves and we look within, we can see what we value, right? But more importantly, when you look at your external life, you can see what you value internally based on what's going on externally, right? Because it's like a mirror, a manifestation of what's going on internally, right? And the reason why I say that is because two people can have the same situation happen and have two different responses based on a different value system and get a different results for their separate value system, right? Dr. Toni and I can go through the same situation, and each of us have a perspective of that situation. And that perspective of our situation is important to us.
Mm-hmm.
When that situation is important to us, we respond based on that perspective. We respond based on that specific perspective. Out of that perspective, however we respond, life tends to come in answer to our response, right? And so we end up being reactive to life or proactive in life, right? So when we have a value system, we are talking about our moral codes, our beliefs, the things that we honor, the things that we put above others, right? Assess your life and look around your life and see where your value system is placed. Do you always get the short end of the stick?
Mm-hmm.
If you always accept getting the short end of the stick, do you have the right value system, right? If you're always ending up with the short end of the stick, at what point do we say, I deserve the whole thing and not pieces?
Mm.
If you're ending up with crumbs from yourself at the end of the night, let me give you an example of what I mean crumbs from yourself, right? You get up, you get dressed, you go off to work, you take a little 30-minute lunch, you come home, you take care of the kids, you wash the clothes, you do the laundry, you take care of the husband, and you might get maybe like a 20-minute workout if you can. Um, and then at the end of the night, you're too tired to do anything you love to do. You're too tired to do anything that's of value, meaning building into yourself. So you at the end of the night, you go sit on the bed, and before you can read a book or do some self-assessment or journal or anything, your eyes shut, you fall asleep, blink, and it's wake up and do it all over again.
Mm.
And you have been living in a system that's just this over and over again. Work, school. I mean, work or school. Come home doing housework and children, and your whole life is wrapped around your children and your husband. Now, don't get me wrong. Having your life be about your children, that's a good thing,
Mm.
right? But you have to have some space in there for you as well as a mother so that your children can learn to pour into themselves so that they can learn while it's important to them to have some self-esteem and to have self-care is what I wanted to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's important for them to understand self-care because when them children get out in the real world, if they don't know self-care, the world can run right over them and they create the same system of tiredness all over again. Tired after tired, through with being through, sick of being sick and tired, right? And that's not a system that you want to live in. When we say systems, one of the things that come to mind is cause and effect,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we say system, you have a cause and effects that affects the cause then cause another effect that has another cause, then that effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, and it become a system that just keeps rolling all over again on the same response, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if you are in a relationship and a relationship is not give and take, it's not give and take 50-50 or 100-100, however you want to put it. It's not, you're not going in together. It's just take, 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 take. One of you will burn out quicker than the other. And most likely it's the one that's giving, 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 right? After a while, when you're in a relationship that's not feeding you, you're gonna feel that neglect later. You're gonna feel that emotional neglect. I mean, meaning you're like, well, what about me? Where's the love for me? Where's the pouring into me? You look around and there's nobody else to pour into you, right? That is because you did not take the time
Mm.
to fix your value system before getting in said relationship
Mm-hmm.
that made that relationship have a requirement of being one that is give and take or being one where you are important in a relationship. Your feelings are important, your emotions are important, you are important, what you want is important, your decisions is important, what you believe is important. It has to be just as important as the other person you're in a relationship in. And now when we say relationship, we mean relationship with a significant other that you might a love relationship, a business relationship, a family relationship. It has to be give and take. It has to be a cycle of give and take. You can't always pour, and not expect at some point to be empty. So what happens if you're in a relationship, business, whatever relationship, and it's not 50-50, it's not give and take or 100 and 100, right? What do? You got to reassess your value system, work on the healing of that broken value system, build yourself up, build your value system up, get clear on what you believe is true and what's important. Your value system is most likely based on what you feel is important, right? Your will is a part of that value system. What you're willing to do is based on what you value the most, right? If you're willing, there's some people that will say, well, I can't work out because I have to work. Well, you put that job at the top of your value system, not necessarily your health. When you have something at the top of your value system, there's nothing or no excuse that will come in between you and that thing being done that's at the top of your value system. If you value yourself, if you have a healthy value system, then you should be right at the top of that. Let me tell you something. When you value yourself, do you know how many people around you benefit from you valuing yourself, from you self-care? We're not just talking about selfish and just that narcissistic thought of selfishness and I just care about myself and me. We're not talking about that. We're talking about self-care enough that when you get happy, your children see happiness exists. Your children will see that if mommy got happy, okay, so I can be happy too. Where you'll have healthy relationships because you attract who you are, right? Or you'll have healthy outcomes because you became proactive in your habits for a healthy relationship, right? Or for healthy decisions or healthy situations. And so when you are at the top of your value system, you're not settling for less. So when you get an idea that will leave your name in the earth or leave a mark in the earth, you're going to do that. You're not going to put somebody else's dream ahead of yours. You're not going to sit there and work yourself to death. And I mean that, to death, spiritual, mental, whatever, death. You're not going to work yourself to death over somebody else's vision because you feel guilty about having to do it, right? You feel like, okay, I can't quit the job because my friend got me the job. And what if they get mad because I left the job after they did all that work to get me there? That's excuses. That's excuses. When you have a proper value system, you honor your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, your agenda, your beliefs, your morals. You honor who you are as a person first because you know to honor you is to honor God. And I tell you that because He made you great. He made you in the image and His likeness, right? So why wouldn't we honor what He made? Why wouldn't we honor the God within us, right? And so how can you honor God if you don't honor what He put in you? How can you hear Him if you don't think you're worthy enough to hear? Right? And so your self-worth is a part of that value system. And it should be up in that value system, right? Your self-care, value system. Dreams, visions, value system. The people you love, value system. But let me tell you something about the people you love. Once you love yourself and you go on the self-care journey, you see who else cares and love you. You can't even miss it at that point. because you know the bottom line that you're willing to accept. You know that if you love yourself enough, that when somebody's talking to you crazy, like you're trash, you know that person does not have you high up in their value system, right? So why are you putting people that don't have you high up in their value system high up in yours? For the sake of they said they love me. Does their actions show that they love me? Is what the way that they put their life, does it show love? Now think about anything you have ever really truly loved. Would you treat it like they treat you? Would you walk all over it like they walk all over you? Would you force them to do things that they don't want to do? Why would you accept it from them? So your value system does not start with anybody else. It starts with you.
Mm-hmm.
And everything out of that is a reflection. So when you have a proper value system, you took the time to self-assess. You took the time to understand who you are, why you are, what you are. We talk about this week after week, how important that is. You you take into consideration how your beliefs got there, how they started, what you believe, and how they got there. You're very clear on where you are going. You have vision for your life. And I say, if you don't have vision for your life, again, assess where have you gone? What has been showing up in your life? What have you been desiring in the background that you have not wanted to face? I suggest writing a mission statement for your life or a vision statement for your life and put it on your wall so you're reminded what your mission and what your vision is for your life, right? So when life happens, you're not getting that mixed up in the chaos, right? Put it on your wall so it's always speaking to you. I always say we have a power wall because we need something that fight for us even when we can't. Just like we're creating things that speak when we no longer can, right? And so when you're working on your value system, it is important to know where you've been, where you are, and where you're going. It's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you are. It's hard to know where you are if you don't know where you've been. So it's important to understand the system that we call you first before you can understand what system out here you need to operate in. How can you pick a system if you don't know who you are?
Mm.
You go out here and work and work and work against the wrong thing. You'll
Mm.
do the right thing in a wrong environment with the wrong people and call it, I made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. You did the right thing. We just got to find the right environment for you to do that. But how do you know it's the right environment if you don't know your value system?
Mm-hmm.
How can you link up with another person if you don't know your value system? How can you tell their value system matches your value system if you don't know your value system? So you'll start to make decisions and make relationships with people who don't have a good value system.
Mm.
And then they start making decisions. Their decision is causing an effect in your life because you're riding by. You're getting caught in a crossfire of people's decisions because of their value system, right? Tony Robbins, if you get a chance, Tony Robbins has a thing online that talks about the 6 basic human needs, right? And if you look it up, just look up Tony Robbins' 6 basic human needs. And then look at your life and see what is your basic human needs. And I'll give you some examples, but I don't think I remember all of them right now, but I'll give you some examples. For instance, one of your basic human needs might be spontaneity, and another human need might be stability, right? You might be a person that needs to know this is that, and that, and then have everything in order, right? Where another person's human need might be spontaneity, where they say, okay, I just want to live life as it is, go moment to moment. I don't want to plan nothing. I don't want to do nothing. One of your basic human needs might be growth. One of your basic human needs might be love and affection. One of your basic human, you get what I'm saying? It's six basic human needs that we have as humans. If you understand your human needs, when you go to interact with anybody
Mm-hmm.
and you watch how they do their life, you'll see how their human needs is, and you'll be able to assess whether their human needs fit your human needs. Here's the thing. Let's say you're already in a relationship and you want and you look up these six basic human needs, right? Let's say your top three human needs is that person's bottom three human needs, and vice versa. Their top three human needs is your bottom human needs. Why would you keep giving up your human needs
Mm.
for theirs just for the sake of going together?
Mm.
See, here's the thing: when you're in the right relationship with somebody, and they have their basic human needs, you have your basic human needs. They're not going to make you give up your human needs to feed theirs, and you're not going to do the same thing. It should be a balance.
Mm.
It should go together. If you're in a relationship already, if that person needs basic human needs, the first one is spontaneity, then okay, every now and again you do spontaneity for them, but for you, you have to have everything in order. It's okay for you to have everything in order. And so for them, they're okay with living with spontaneity, but they need to sometimes have things in order for you to go together.
Mm-hmm.
So when you understand your human needs, here's the six human needs, right? One is certainty. I said stability, but it's certainty. That's assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Number two, uncertainty or variety. The need for the unknown change, new stimuli, right? Three is significance, feeling unique, important, special, or needed. Four, connection, love, a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. Five, growth, an expansion of capacity, capability, or understanding. Six, contribution, a sense of service and focus on helping, giving to, and supporting others, right? I need you to go through all six of those and rank your human needs by importance of yourself based on your value system, right? Rank your human needs, put them in order in a way. Let's say you're a person who needs love as your number one human need, and you know you need love as your human need, then you need to be with a person who respects that love is your basic human need. You know how we always talking about the love language and all of that stuff? The problem with love languages in certain relationships is I end up speaking your language, but you don't speak mine.
Mm.
And then you speak your language, but I don't speak yours. So together, we just don't speak the same language, right? At some point, you're going to have to speak the same language, right? The good thing about being in a healthy relationship is when somebody understands your basic human needs and they understand your love language, right? And so again, the person is not going to make you a healthy relationship is not going to make you suppress your love language to fit theirs. Both should be spoken. There should be a balance. If you're in a relationship with somebody who love language is service, and you have another person whose love language is compassion, affection, then at some point an unhealthy relationship would be the person whose love language is affection does not speak service. They don't want to do any service, but they always asking for hugs and love and cuddles and all this stuff from the person, and the person give them loves and cuddles, but then when it come time for service, the one that's affection is silent. In a healthy relationship, the person who understands their importance of affection, which a lot of times, if your love language is affection, then most likely connection is your first basic human needs. You see how that go together? You have your love language and then you have your basic human needs, right? When you understand this stuff and start rewiring your life a certain way where your love language and human needs are met, where you don't have to you don't sacrifice them to fit into any equation with anyone else. Because anybody who loves you will honor your basic human needs and will honor your love language. A person who loves you will never tell you to shut yourself up so that they can have their way. Most likely they'll say, okay, if you're, I'm gonna do a self-service and I know you're gonna give me a massage. And it happens like that, but it goes unsaid. I don't have to tell you, hey, could you take out the trash? And then you don't have to tell me, hey, could you give me a massage? You don't have to say, it's just spoken all day. All day when you got a relationship that is successful or healthy. And I don't care what relationship it is, all relationship has human needs and love language, right? But you got to understand your own to be able to tell that to somebody, to be able to clarify it for somebody, to communicate with that. Because if you don't have communication, throw the whole relationship away if there's no communication, if nobody's willing to listen. People be willing to speak, but not willing to listen, right? And so you have to listen to your body, listen to your spirit. You have to listen. What's in your life right now? If what's in your life is not valuing you, why are you valuing it? We got to make the shift. And the way to do that is to understand our moral belief and value. Understand us at the core. We say this every week. Understanding yourself. And this is for those that want a quality of life. This is not for those that's making excuses for everything. You got a but for everything, right? This is not for those that want to, that's skeptic about every little thing. This is those that really want a quality of life and saying, hey, how do I shift from this life of misery to that life of greatness? How do I go from being in a break to living beyond the break and then staying beyond the break with some consistency and some sustainability, right? And so we have to be able to understand and communicate to ourselves first and then to others what it is that we need, what it is that we believe, and then allow ourselves to know that we are worthy enough that our value system matters. And then when you start interacting with other people that have the same values of you, you build friendships and relationships and family. The root word of family is familiar. People you are familiar with, you build a family. Right? If your own family, if your own blood relatives won't honor you, do you have a familiar family that's not blood that will honor you? And this is why I say you got to assess the people that you love and the ones that love you. Right? Because everybody that you think has your back, unfortunately, don't. What are you going to crumble because they don't have your back? No, you build your life to where it's so successful, so peaceful, and so full that nobody who didn't give it to you can't take it away from you. Nobody who didn't add it to you can't subtract from you. You can have disappointment, but what you can't do is take away my self-worth because you didn't give me my self-worth. So you got to have it full. You got to have your life so full of fire that it don't matter who ignored you. It don't matter who ghosted. Don't come back. If you want to ghost me, keep that same energy. I'm good on you because I'm going to take care of me. You got to have so much of a party. And let me tell you something. You got to have so much going on in your life, so much fulfillment, so much on your own table that you're not worried about who got to bring something. You have your own table. You a party all by yourself. Anything anybody else brings is extra. Extra. Imagine being so in love with yourself and so in love with life and so in love with what you do and so in love with the people around you that when somebody who don't understand your value comes and try to tell you they're not going to do something or they're not going to value, it's not going to matter because you're already full. Imagine for a second having every relationship be a mirror of a great value system. Imagine your whole house. Everywhere you look, you see your value system in place. It's horrible when you look around your house and you can't see yourself. You can't find yourself. All you see is mess and cleaning up mess and try tools to clean up mess and this broke over here and holes over there and I just got this because nobody wanted it, so I just did it. Like, you know, you gotta look around and see yourself. See your yeses in your nose. Don't be afraid to look at your yeses in your nose. Your yeses in the nose were based on your value system and how you responded to life when life knocked on the door. So, in order for you to make sure that you can recover from a broken value system, it's going to start with you and nobody else. Back to you, Dr. Toni.
Wow, wow, wow. That's incredible, Tichet, what you just shared. Attractive thinkers, I trust that you have captured these gems because I'm writing them down as we speak. One of the last things you said was imagine that every relationship is a reflection of a great value system. Write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. Just imagine when you write it down, I want you to actually do it. Imagine it. Just take a moment. It could be 30 seconds, it could be 60 seconds. Just take a moment and imagine what your life would look like if every relationship was a reflection of your highest value system, of your great value system. Imagine, write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. Imagine that every relationship is a reflection of a great value system. How beautiful is that? You also said it's terrible to look around your house and you can't find yourself anywhere. Think about that. If you see, again, there's some foundational, practical parts and pieces that need to be in place and beliefs that need to be in place in order for you to grasp what Tishet just said. In order for you to view it as not so good thing to look around your house and not be able to see a reflection of you anywhere, you have to first value your reflection. You have to first value your reflection. You have to first place yourself on the pedestal. You have to first highly esteem yourself. When you highly esteem yourself, you're not going to place yourself in an environment where you can't see your values anywhere. The colors don't reflect your value system. The sofa doesn't reflect your value system. The desk and the chairs in the office doesn't reflect your value system. Even down to the coffee mug. You love the coffee, but you hate that coffee mug. It doesn't reflect your value system. When you highly esteem and value yourself, I hope you're getting this, visionary and attractive thinker. When you highly esteem and value yourself, you don't accept placing yourself around any old conversation. You don't engage in things that make you feel uncomfortable because you value your feelings. You've made how you feel matter. Think about that. This is incredible stuff here. So, Tishet, while you were talking, I looked up the word recover because today's topic is recovering from a broken value system. So we have to break these definitions down in order for us to get the impact. In order for them to be impactful for us. Other than that, if we don't define these topics and these words that we're using, then attractive thinkers and visual encouragers aren't getting the full impact, and it's just another message to hear. So when I looked up the word recover, it means regaining something lost or that was taken away, something that was lost or taken away. To recover it, I can speak for myself. My value system, a proper, healthy value system, was lost. I lost it when I experienced certain defining moments in my life. I just lost what was valuable and I hadn't placed a high value on it because when you place a high value on something, you're going to guard it with everything that you have. You're not just going to, it's just not going to be easily accessible. It's not going to be easily taken away. It's not going to be placed in a setting whereas you could lose it. I want you to think about that. When I looked up the word system, it says a combination of parts and pieces forming a complex whole. A system, a set of correlating members, parts and pieces that make a whole. We're referencing today value system, and if value system is a correlation of parts and pieces that make a whole, if something is not whole, it is broken. And when I looked up the word broken, it says reduced to fragments, ruptured, torn, or fragmented, reduced to parts and pieces. A system is a combination of parts and pieces that form a whole, and broken means reduced. These parts and pieces were reduced to fragments. So, in order to recover these parts and pieces that were reduced to fragments so that they become a complex whole, we have to apply these attractive thinker tools and resources that we're sharing here on Beyond the Break. We have to take what you're hearing today. You have to take the notes that you're writing down in your attractive thinker notebook and apply them in order for you to know how to apply, because they're customized notes that you're taking. Your notes are not applicable to me, and they're not applicable to Chet. These are gems that you've captured as a result of this message that only apply to you. So, in order for you to know what to do with what you're gathering, you have to place a high value on this message. You have to say to yourself, this is a high value message here. Recovering from a broken value system. Are you saying that everything about my life is a reflection of me? Everything around me, the environment I place myself in, the car that I drive, the shoes that I have on now, the home that I live in, the clothes that I wear, how I styled my hair, the jewelry that I wear, the choice in perfume or cologne that you chose to wear today is a reflection of you. So when you go out into the world, people get you. They get who you are. They don't get who you want to be. They get who you are. And then you begin to attract, like Tasha said, through a series of yeses and nos, you begin to bring parts and pieces into your life that reflect your value system. But if you haven't sat down, like Tasha said, and established, you said build your own value system. What do you value the most? If you have a healthy value system, you'll place yourself right at the top of that pedestal, of that system, of that whole, that complex whole. If you have a healthy value system, you will place yourself at the top of it. You don't place other people, places, and things, and habits, and thoughts, and ideas that are contrary to who you are at the top of your value system. You're at the top of your value system. And everything else, you deal with it accordingly, but you don't take yourself off of the top of your value system and place other things there. You're devaluing yourself. And like Tasha said, when you devalue yourself, you're devaluing God, because he lives in you. He is you. He manifests through you. Think about that. So another thing you mentioned, Tasha, it made me think about this, because I believe it will shake up the whole of a person, the complete part, the core of a person, if they understood that when the way they treat themselves is how they're treating God. That's a game changer for me. I remember when I got that realization, it stops you from looking at yourself in a different light than you should. It stops you from always picking and poking and pinching at your things about your body that you don't like or whatever. It stops you from beating yourself up about certain things. When you understand that how you treat you is how you're treating God, the spirit in you, because you and your Father are one. Think about that. When you keep complaining and talking about how bad you are and how unworthy you are and how untrustworthy you are and how not so good you are, you're talking about God, the God in you. So when we get that clarity, we understand how to recover from a broken value system. It's okay, like Tasha said, you ask yourself these questions, but don't judge it. Don't be so hard on yourself. This is just for clarity. You want to see where your value system is, where you are on this spectrum. Am I on the pedestal in my life, or have I taken myself off of the pedestal in my life? And if that's the case, you have to put yourself back on the pedestal in your own life, because you're the only person who's going to be with you throughout the rest of your life. You're the one that you can trust. How can I trust somebody else more than I trust myself? You have to put yourself, place yourself. You say, well, Dr. Toni, that's kind of hard to place myself on the pedestal in my life because I never viewed myself as that. Well, now is a great time to start. Because when you begin to do that, it opens you up to a whole new world and way of doing things and way of showing up in the world. It you begin to experience a different feeling about yourself that you never experienced before. You begin to see yourself differently, and you begin to love who you are and love those areas of your life that you have not enjoyed. Those other areas of your life that you have not enjoyed about yourself, you begin to see the good in them. And now you see how wonderful you are and how great you really are and how fantastic and amazing you are. You're the best thing that God ever did, creating you. He's breathing in you. Your heart is moving. You're not sitting here listening to this message and say, "Hold, I gotta pause the message because I gotta remind myself that make sure my heart is beating." No, God didn't leave that up to you. That's on automation. That's an involuntary response that's built in your heart beating and moving life throughout your entire body. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're incredible. And now that we're talking about systems, when we talk about this body, it's made of systems. It's full of systems. Your respiratory system and your digestive system and your circulatory system and your endocrine system and your nervous system, the integumentary system, your vascular system, your muscular system, your skeletal system. They're all systems that work as a complex whole. Think
Mm-hmm.
about that. Think about that. They are all systems that work together as a complex whole to keep you alive. That's how fantastic and amazing you are. And if anything is neglectful concerning any of these systems, because these systems are so tight and they work so well together, it affects all of them. That's how incredible you are.
Mm-hmm.
When you begin to value yourself in that light, you'll begin to experience more closeness with the power that created you, with God. You say, God is making himself more known to me in my life. No, he isn't. It's just that you are valuing that spirit more than you ever have in your life. And now you're more aware of that power in you that's been supporting you all throughout your life. It's always been there. It's always been there, but when we aren't aware of it, we can't partake in it or have the full effect or benefit of it. But now you know. Now you know you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You're fantastic and amazing. The breath that you're breathing. And we've had so many Beyond the Break episodes. You can find these messages intertwined in all of them, a running theme of how fantastic and amazing you are, how powerful you are. Even if you're going into a break, or you just entered into a break, or you're in a break, or you're coming out of a break, or you're living life beyond the break, you're still incredible in all of those phases and stages. How do you recover from a broken value system? You start with placing yourself at the top of your list. That's a great place to start because it gives you something to work with. And while you're working on placing yourself on the pedestal in your life, you're going to have some experiences that will reveal things to you about why you haven't placed yourself on that pedestal in your life, how to place yourself there, the importance of placing yourself there, how valuable it is, what does it mean to place yourself there, and the ultimate is the view that you have from being on this place in your life, this pedestal, this platform in your life. You have a different perspective and view of yourself when you place a high value on yourself than just settling for whatever comes your way. Or when you don't understand your value, you begin to consider how other people value you. You begin to consider their comments and their, phrases and things that they say about you. Because you see, you get to decide your worth and your value. Now, here's the deal: you get to decide how you want to perceive your worth and value, because your worth and value was already established by the power that created you. You can't establish your worth and value. The best that you can do is begin to align with it. That's the best that you can do. You can't create your worth and value because that was already established. But you can begin to align with the higher parts of you, a better version of you, a more committed version of you, a version of you that doesn't procrastinate, a version of you that doesn't complain, a version of you that doesn't tear yourself down. And before you know it, you stepped into and aligned with a being of you that is just incredible. It's just incredible. Whereas you don't even consider that those negative comments you used to make about yourself. You don't consider saying things that devalue you, because now you've placed yourself in a valuable position and you begin to attract things of value because they are a match for who you are. Attractive thinker and visionary. Tichet, tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, the visual encourager, and give us some lasting comments.
The only last comments I have is when you talked about them walking system, I mean them systems, we are a walking system. But think of how many systems is out here in the universe that works together for the benefit of the human experience, right? And when you understand the different systems, it allows you to appreciate
Mm-hmm.
who you are and what you live in, and you can see how this whole thing was crafted by a creator that was just so amazing that he thought of everything. You know what I mean? Everything was already in the earth, but it is important to understand that we are not waiting
Mm-hmm.
for anything, anybody to come and fix our value system. We're
Yeah.
not waiting for anything or anybody to come in and show us what we believe.
Mm-hmm.
That is something we have to uncover as we go. Again, I'm so glad that you were able to be here, and we are so grateful for each and every person. Leave a comment for us in the bottom and let us know what your top three basic human needs, if you want to share it, and let us know any comments you have. You can find me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for movers and shakers, trailblazers, pathfinders, and groundbreakers. All you visionaries who desire to move mountains but need help lifting the heaviness so that you can create a new vision for yourself. Go to my contact us page, put in your information. Let me know how I can uplift you, enlighten you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment in a healthy value system beyond the break. Again, that's www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Yes. So you can live a healthy value system. When you, after you listen to this message, I want you to turn to page 451 and 452 in the Attractive Thinker Experience to continue this message on a deeper level. If you don't have your copy, as I always say, you definitely want to run on over to Amazon and grab your copy of the Attractive Thinker book. This transformational experience is a game changer. It's a reference, it's a guide. It will meet you right where you are, no matter where you are on your entrepreneurial journey or transformation in your life. Yes. I love seeing that little book cover waving around under the camera. Yes, it is an amazing resource that I use myself. You might say, well, Tichette and Dr. Toni, where do you guys come up with these topics? How do you keep putting out all of this power week after week after week after week? Because we have discovered our internal treasure. We've shifted and changed our defining moment into destiny moments. We know how to turn our pain into power, and we're here to support you in doing the same thing. You always hear us say, our life's work, that is to make your life better. Remember, it is not what you're going through, it's how you're viewing it. Think attractively. We will see you soon.